What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy, Andrew. So, aka Mr. Goody Two-Shoes. And who am I with? As always, Church, Hugger, aka Old Man Hugger. Talk shit or get off the pod. Episode 136. If y'all thought that the weed blows were done giving blowjobs, well, the Boy Scouts are back. In a different way. Motherfuckers.
Whoever you think you are, I am. Have you ever seen... what's up, man? Have you ever seen that video? It's
Yeah, the bowler.
Yeah, the bowler, and he's bowling against some, 13-year-old kid.
You don't understand how hyped I got the first, second, third, and 100th time that I've watched that. Like,
It's
I
a moment.
love the fact that, it doesn't make sense what he says. But
It does. It does. Whoever you think you are, I am. That makes sense.
That's not what he said, though.
Yeah, he is. He's like, yeah.
No. He's like, who do you think you are? I am.
Well, he didn't say it the way I'm saying it. It was
I
broken
know.
up. Have you heard
he fucked it up.
Have you heard the story about him telling about why he said that? And everyone being like, "Oh, it was to some 13-year-old kid." Have you heard him do it?
That makes it 1,000 times better.
They were bowling, and this kid's really good, and he was snickering and saying shit while they were bowling, and he's like, "Look, it's an old bowling rule. You don't say shit. You don't snicker. You don't sneer while someone else is bowling. You're not like yes whenever they miss shots." He's like, "No." He's just saying when you reach that level of bowling, that's viewed as shitty. And you got to remember, this guy's older, so he's been bowling professionally since 60s, 70s. That's probably that's some real shit. He's probably been bowling.
Well, guess what? If he wants to fuck around, if he wants to pull his piece out on the lane, I'll snatch it from him, stick it up his ass, and pull the trigger till it goes click.
But what they were doing is him and this kid were going back and forth of this game, and the kid had the lead, and then he kind of blew it, and he fucked up earlier, and the guy and the kid snickered or some shit, and made some comment under his breath, but loud enough for him to hear, and was laughing, trolling the old man. So
then, hold on, back the fuck up. So the video that we see where he
is the end of
the famous
battle.
Where he's playing against a 13-year-old this whole time.
13, 15, somewhere around there, teenager. So
this isn't man on man professional bowling.
It's professional bowling. This kid's just legit as fuck. He's a bowling prodigy. It's a
nobody ever said that. Nobody decided to bring up that this dude was getting aggro and just going straight legend status on a 13-year-old.
Yeah, when you're going for tens of thousands of dollars on ESPN and a professional bowling competition, I'd hope you'd be hype. If I just showed up and was in the stands, I'd be like, "Oh fuck!" Come on.
But it's who dropped the ball here?
This is what I'm saying.
Because it's if I was the reporter here, I'd be also including the kid. Shame, let's get this kid shamed.
No, but the kid is shamed because that video existed.
I didn't even know
forever.
The kid existed.
I
thought
exactly
he was just yelling at the crowd.
Every time that kid sees that video or hears that quote or sees a meme of that, he's reminded of the fact that old man owned him. And what I'm saying is, so they were bowling. It's this big professional tournament for a shit ton of money.
Yeah, with 13-year-olds
on TV. No, I mean that exists though. Whenever it's chess, it's yes, because somebody could be 16 and a chess master. Those people exist.
But that's different.
Or golf. No, it's not, because bowling, darts, golf, those sports are a game of skill.
I thought you had to have at least smoked cigarettes for 3 years of your life before you could even enter into a professional bowling league.
Yeah, that was before the Patriot Act.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a gateway.
No, that's true. That's true. I forgot about the Patriot Act.
Terrorism. Yeah, the Patriot Act. It was more broad than people realize. It affected professional bowling. But what I am saying is, and this is just a personal belief, but golf, darts, bowling, chess, pool, these are all games that are a competition of skill, not necessarily athleticism, but it takes time. You could get good at any of these, but you have to really hone what you're doing, and it's regardless of your age.
I feel one of those, chess is not like the others, as in I feel like somebody who's good at all those other, at one of those other things is likely good at the other thing. If you're good at darts, you're probably good at pool.
Yeah, but it's
probably, it's
my dad is. My dad's crazy, but it's also angles, geometry.
It's hand-eye coordination.
But what I am saying is, to reach that level, it doesn't matter the age. If you're built like that, you're built like that.
I'm not saying that there's not 13-year-old bowlers. What I'm saying is, why wasn't it a bigger part of the story? It should have been like right up there. Like he's yelling at a 13-year-old. This guy is a fucking maniac. Like we already
Well,
thought he was a maniac. You would have gone like, this guy might be president instead of Trump had we known he was like clowning a 13
oh,
year old too.
he's totally a Trump supporter. But
Oh no. He probably thinks Trump's like too much of a pussy. He's like,
yeah,
let's go harder.
yeah. Robert Kennedy.
Yeah,
Hi, Robert Kennedy. Oh God, I can't do it, dude. But no, so he's going against this kid. The kid snickers and sneers, puts himself in a spot, then fucks up, and that's to like shut the shit down. And he nails, and he hears him. He nails that shot, and he wanted to say like something like, "Who do you think you are?" Da da da, something cool, and he fucked up and said that. And yeah, it's whoever. Who do you think you are? I am. But that is a great statement, and it works.
I know.
It's fantastic. Yeah. So whoever you think you
shout
are,
out that guy.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there to start. And
like, yeah, there's no way that guy's like a fun hangout. Like,
no, he seemed pretty chill when I saw him afterwards. I was like, "Fuck yeah, that guy's kind of badass."
Maybe okay.
Because like, because Capone, some little shitty kid who's up there like beating all these other pros and putting it to him. So
I mean, to be fair, he was the one saying that it's bowling etiquette not to do that, and so he technically let a 13-year-old get under his skin, dude.
yeah, well, but he shut
he
it
broke
down.
etiquette on national TV, dude.
He shut it. He shut
on
it
pod.
He shut it the fuck down though. That's the whole thing. Is like you could be even keeled and have no temper and be just like cold blooded as fuck. I mean, there's some games where MJ would have a little bit of that in him, and then sometimes he would be whenever it was he'd lock the fuck in, and then some of his best celebrations are after game-winning shots where he's like jumping and screaming and running his fucking mouth. He talked a lot of shit, but like his big emotional.
Are you comparing
outbursts,
this guy to Jordan?
that's a Jordan-esque moment.
Okay, well let me ask you this: do you think we could get the 13-year-old as a guest on the pod?
Well, now he's probably in like.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't know how else to refer to him.
Because imagine some guy in some
the
like
adolescent bowler who is
snakeskin.
now an adult. Do you think we can get him on the pod and ask him if has regrets, if it was a learning experience? Did it ruin his life? How come he didn't cash in on that? Why didn't he go round two? Like, you know what I'm saying? But Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson,
True.
part two.
Like a like a little
I'm just saying, like,
pro
like,
am.
yeah, that guy just tried to clown you. You're a 13-year-old. You got to come back and whoop his ass back on TV.
You get like the bowling kid and Danny Bonaducci versus like Flava Flav
and then the main event will be me whooping Joe Rogie's ass in a fucking cage over the bowling, like in the bowling alley.
In the bowling alley. No, it'd be
and bowling balls are in the cage.
Well, that's what it would be. It'd be a part of you guys would be having to fight and then put balls back. So you would be at the end of the bowling. It would be like there, and everyone would watch, and then there'd be.
I don't think Joe Rogan has any balls to put back. That's right, you fucking eunuch.
Jesus. But you're doing good, man.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Had a good weekend. I forget what therapist or what happened, but like I kind of had like a moment like early in recovery, if you will, where somebody had said like, try just saying yes to like everything, and then they had to caveat it, be like, well, not like drugs and alcohol, but like shit that you like normally like would be like, I don't know if I want to do that. Just try to like go out of your way to do it. So like I was like, oh, that's a good idea, But like now that like like my life is like in full effect,
Yeah.
Like I've kind of like caught myself like doing that. Like this weekend, like I went out with some friends downtown on Friday. Went out with this chick in Beverly Hills Saturday. Went to a chili cook-off with a couple homies Sunday. And the thing is, when you're not hungover, or you can just do these things,
Yeah, you can have like a schedule.
I know, but I still have this like weird like ingrained thing like where I'm expecting like the downturn of like a hangover. It's like my whole life I like went in like streaks. It's like.
Yeah.
I was like on a good run for 4 days, like drunk, partying hot, and then it was like inevitably I was gonna be feeling like shit for a week, and then it was like kind of a start over. But like it just doesn't happen. Like I just don't ever like feel like I'm like waiting for the bottom to fall out, like But it's just like
no, and like I mean I've been you know, you, the circumstances. Well, first of all, shout out Big Eugene, dude. You Big Eugene just popped up in the chat on the live stream. Eugene, I'm gonna tell a Eugene story here in a second, but best neighbor I ever had. But no, like I've always like woke up early and done all these sort of things, and whenever there was like, I guess, peak party time, whenever one would be partying or doing stuff, there's all sorts of crazy shit going on, and I was just like working. Now it's made me a workaholic now as I've gotten older, but like once you get into that system and you're like used to it, that it doesn't matter. Like you can wake up at 8 any day. You're always getting good sleep. You're never waking up and like, oh, I feel like shit today, or like, oh, what the fuck.
Well, no. See, I don't get good sleep and shit like that, like necessarily. Like that's one of the like issues, like separate that I just I'm trying to figure out. But it doesn't matter because my entire life I was like fucking like destroyed hungover, getting up going to class or getting up going to work hungover, and I've just like I'm like a Navy SEAL. I trained myself to go
Yeah.
to like to do life, like feeling like half in the bag, you know.
Yeah.
And so now like I'll stay up like all night, and like and then I'm fine. Like, you know, like the next day, it's like my mom's like, "Well, you didn't get any sleep," because I'm like over at the parents' house. I'm like, Mom, you don't understand. Like, I used to not get any sleep, but I'd be drinking, and and I was functional. It's like I'm sober now. Like I'm like
Yeah.
a superhuman.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've always been like that. So I can probably run, fully function, get shit done, make it through the day. It could be the longest day anyone's ever worked. And I would probably make it, on like 5.5 hours of sleep. I'm like, I wake up every day like 10 to 15 minutes before my alarm goes off. Turn my alarm off every morning before it goes off. Just like ingrained. Now that sucks because I can never sleep in. Days off, it's like I wake up early. If I have anything to do, I'm up. When I'm awake, I'm awake. There's no like falling back asleep. It's difficult.
I'm not talking about routine shit. I'm just I'm saying whenever I do wake up, I feel
But it is because you're getting in the routine and you've been in the routine of not waking up hungover. So your body and your clock and your times and your routines have changed. So you can wake up and go do more of this shit, something you weren't able to do because your body's routine is like really starting to reprogram itself. So you feel better.
Well, like like kind of like the aha was like because there was always like a reluctance like when I like having to go do something on a weekend, you know. And then like it was like early on I was just like, well, why wouldn't I go do this? Like what, you know, it's like there's no you know, like I'm not doing anything else, and like I don't feel like shit.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, true.
And then when you're out doing stuff like that and like meeting people and stuff, and it like snowballs, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's more opportunities when you're putting yourself in situations to be around those opportunities, be it work or whatever, or meeting
Like
new people,
even
and
like the
friendships.
poker run,
Yeah.
like I never have played poker until this poker run sober, right? So
Yeah.
I've never strung together like 3 days of playing poker successfully because eventually I'd be too drunk or hungover to like, you know.
Yeah, and not just that, but also, and this is just true because you know you've been losing a lot of weight while you've been on this journey as well. I've said this for a long time. Like, what happens? So you're drinking, you get drunk as shit, and then you've already consumed way more calories. Not to be that person, but it's true. You've like drank a bunch of beer and shit or whatever, or shots, and then normally whenever you reach that level, you're like, bro, I'm hungry. AF, I gotta go get some food. So then you end up going to like In-N-Out, Whataburger, getting the shittiest food you can get because that's normally what's open that late. Or you go gorge yourself at some 24-hour spot, and then you pass out and sleep. That's the worst thing you can do, especially the older you get, is eat a bunch of shitty food and then go to sleep for 8 hours. Like,
Yeah, I was on a whole different level. Like I was like at the point where like I'm not even eating, like I'm just drinking.
well, yeah, and that's a shit ton of calories already. So
No, I know.
Yeah,
I
so
actually
either way.
switched from IPAs like years before I stopped drinking to White Claws, which
Because
accelerated my problem because I did the math about the alcohol percentage versus the
Oh, yeah.
calories.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, oh shit, I could drink like 16 of these and it's like 6 IPAs. I could get wasted. Fuck yeah.
That's terrible. But
Yeah,
I mean, but no,
Let's hit rock bottom quick.
you've been on this. I'm proud of you, man. Really proud of you. So,
Shout out.
no, for sure.
Meditate, motherfucker. I know,
He
but
said
like
that,
I realize that I'm now sounding like that annoying guy who's like, dude, being sober is like a better habit than like any drug you've ever taken. Like even when I was like down, like getting sober, I wanted to fucking fight that person, you know.
yeah.
But it's like I don't know, dude. It's kind of tight.
Well, it's
But I also think it's because I haven't been sober since I was 12. So it's like a whole different experience for me.
they're like a whole new adult.
Yeah. All right.
And is the world ready for that poker playing adult? It doesn't seem
Uh,
like it. Seems like the
they
card
ain't
room's
ready.
ready to
They ain't ready.
card room's ready to hand you their money, but they're not ready to.
Well, I actually made my return yesterday. So after work, before I picked up my dog, uh, so it was just a quick 2 hour session, 5 to 7. Uh, Doubled up my first hand. Uh, Sat down, just doubled my. I was like, okay. Uh, okay. So I'll just break it down like this. This would be the best way to describe it. Was there for 2 hours. That is 120 minutes. I won 12 hands. That's one. I won a hand every 10 minutes I was there. I initially bought in 100. I doubled my money on the first hand. I got down to $20. I added on 80 when I was at the 20. Immediately doubled on the next hand. Got down to 65. And I'm waiting for the big blind because it's time to leave. I have to go pick up my dog. This guy next to me, Mario. He's like the suave Mexican guy, like Antonio Banderas type shit.
That's awesome.
He's sitting to my right, and uh, I've got pocket fives, and he straddled, uh, he's next to the big blind, which big blind is two. He put in four before the cards get dealt. It's called the straddle, so it's like an extra big blind. So I was the first to go. I've got pocket five, so I call the four. A couple other people call four. It gets to Mario, who's the last to act pre-flop. He's like, "Oh, let's make it fun. Let's make it fun. Let's raise it to 14." And I got like 66 chips like left in front of me, and I'm like, you know what? Mario likes to gamble, and Mario's drinking, and I go all in, and then so everybody folds, and it gets to Mario, and I know he just can't. He's not gonna be able to lay it down, so he calls ace queen suited, and his ace and his queen never come. I double up, cash out $178. I bought in at 180, cashed out 178. I tipped 27 to the dealers because I have an app where I'm tracking my tips now. So it's like up 10% if you know, include the tips as like winnings. But isn't that insane? I won 12 hands. I was there for 2 hours, doubled up the first hand, and then walked out even. Like, think about how many hands I was playing with that I didn't win, like that were just crazy. Like,
Yeah, you're on a run, man. That's what I'm saying. You got to do
well, no, I
something.
mean, just, run or not, like playing that many hands, like is rare, you know.
I think
Like,
you've seen more hands sober than you've probably ever seen.
yeah,
Because you've been playing for a grip and like between in the card room, playing online, all these tournaments. So I'm saying, man, like you're playing a lot. You're getting really fucking good. You should do something with it.
I know. I told the dealer because I got a bad beat. I had a couple of really bad beats. Just real quick, I raised pre-flop ace king $10, and 7-7 ace comes on the flop, and I lost to this guy who had 7-2. I raised it pre-flop. He called it with 7-2, catches his 3 7s on the flop. And so I told Brian, the dealer, he wasn't there, but I texted him that I went back because he was asking like where I was. And I gave him like a little synopsis. And he's like, well, dude, that shit won't happen to you on the other table. The one that he's like tried to get me to go, the bigger, higher stakes table. He's just
Yeah,
like, it was like no time to like listen to me anymore about 1-2. He's
yeah,
like,
because you're too good. You're just like it's like you're in there
yeah,
hustling. You're in there like you've become a pool shark at these lower tables, man. That's what I'm saying. Like you're that old head in there hustling people for their money. You're like, oh, and I know you know their tendencies. You know these, like you know the regulars. You know what they like. Oh, you could call that raise. I'm all in just based off of something he says and the fact he's drinking. Like you gotta go to the big boy table, bro.
I know. But I guess what it is now, it's like there's been so much buildup. It's like, you know, I don't want to go and just like it be a complete fucking disaster. But no, I'll just go. I'll go. Next time that I'm up $200 at the smaller table. I'm just gonna get up and go over to the big table.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As we do, y'all, we start with therapy questions. Therapy question number 1, Joseph. Would you rather live in a virtual reality where you are all powerful, or live in the real world and be able to go anywhere you want, but not be able to interact with anyone or anything?
So basically, be a ghost.
Right.
Although
A
that would
ghost,
be
a ghost seemed to be interacting. I don't
that'd
know.
be yeah, but I mean that'd be like Slender Man. That'd be tight. You'd be some like creepy pasta mystery that doesn't exist and no one will ever know.
I mean,
I'd
what's the
rather
difference?
live in I'd rather live in a virtual reality
Yeah, 'cause
world.
who says that we're not already?
Because if I could, and I could like talk to people and be like, "Yo,
And I'm all powerful?
yeah." So I'd much rather that than just be like Ghost Man, but you can't talk to anybody. Just like
Yeah, that's like the saddest fucking thing
yeah,
ever.
that would literally
You can
be
literally go see everything that you cannot do.
that would be hanging out with like the ghost of Christmas past. And just being like looking in the windows, and he's like, "Look at him. That was you, and you
That would
loved
be better
Christmas."
because
Be
at
like,
least you'd have
"No,
somebody. At least you'd have somebody hanging out with. You
don't
can't
go."
even interact with,
Or like
Ebenezer.
Interstellar, like you'd be if you couldn't even hit the bookcase, you'd just be Matthew McConaughey flying through a black hole, and be like, "No,
You just
don't
Bruce Willie,
go."
just Bruce Willie in Sixth Sense.
No, he could interact. I think. Oh damn, that's
No, man,
that's
because
a
they were
mean-
dead, bro. They were both
Ooh.
dead. Spoiler alert.
Ooh, that was a mean joke. That was a mean joke. No, he
What?
was dead. The kid could see him because he was dead, and Bruce
They
Willis
both were
was-
dead.
No, the kid wasn't dead.
Yeah,
I didn't think the kid was dead at the end of Sixth Sense.
he sees dead people.
No, the kid can
He's
see.
dead. I thought that was it.
No, I think
Am
the kid can see ghosts, and Bruce Willis is trying to help this kid understand.
Oh, but Bruce Willis was the
but
one. Who
Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, but
Haley Joel Osment,
well,
come after me.
great actor. He's been through a lot, and he's
Yeah, I bet he has.
well, no, he's like lost the ability to like speak and all
What?
sorts of stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, so when you
I'm
were
talking
like,
about Haley Joel Osment, dude.
oh, I was talking about Bruce Willis.
I'm
Then you
trying
were
to
like,
start a beef.
so you're like saying be a ghost. Well, this would be a Bruce Willis beef because it was can't talk or interact with anything already.
Talking about Bruce Willis.
So you don't have to be him in Sixth Sense. You could just be Bruce Willis in real
Or I
life.
could be him in Unbreakable because I know you love that shit.
That movie's tight, bro.
You just like went off the other day about how like he's such a whack ass like hero.
Yeah, he is a whack ass hero.
Okay.
He's just as whack as his evil counterpart, Mr. Glass, who's like, "Oh, don't! I'm in this wheelchair. If you touch me, you're gonna break my arm." There's nothing menacing about that. He's just really smart and likes comic book characters. It's fucking stupid. The only cool person is the Beast or the guy from Split, who's all crazy and has like 40 personalities, and one of them's like indestructible. That was kind of cool. Every other superhero in that universe was lame. You got a security guard who
What
can't
universe
get
is
wet.
this? Isn't it? It's got to be a part of like Marvel or DC.
No,
right?
it's like his own thing that he made because he did not.
Unbreakable is.
Yeah, well, Unbreakable is a part of the same. Unbreakable, Split, and Glass are all the same, and in Glass
And they're
they
not
all-
affiliated to all these other superheroes.
No, it's like
I didn't know that.
M Night's little, the M Night
Oh, M Night Shyamalan's
multiverse.
involved?
Yeah, he wrote those movies. So he wrote all three of them:
What?
Unbreakable, Glass, and Split. Split.
Oh, I didn't know Glass and Split are even a thing. I don't. know
No,
what the fuck that is.
Split's really good. You would actually dig, but when you watch it, you just don't realize like what's
Trying
up.
to get up in that split for
So,
Mother's Day.
so
you know what I'm
Unbreakable
saying?
was like Unbreakable was good, where it was like, oh man, this is a pretty good movie. Like this guy still hasn't made all these
No, I
shitty
know. I
movies
saw it in the
yet.
theaters. It was fine.
And then when you watch Split, you're like, oh fuck, it ends.
M
and
Night
you,
Shyamalan sucks.
you don't realize Signs was tight, bro. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
yeah, it's a slap in the face by like Christianity.
Signs was
The
tight.
the whole time it was just like Jesus. What?
Signs. Well, that was lame, but.
Yeah, that's the whole fucking movie.
But the
That's like the big
CGI,
reveal.
but the CGI and the way they presented
Melly Gibson.
the way they presented the alien in Signs was tight as fuck. Especially in the video where it's the shaky cam at the kid's birthday and it pops out of the grass and you don't see it. There's some really like the build up and suspense to seeing the alien was awesome because I remember seeing that in the movie theater when that video went by and it walked in front everybody was like, "Holy shit!" Because you hadn't really. It was like the way it was depicted. It was good CGI
I
for
saw
the
it in the
time.
theater with Joe Beckistan and his family, and we were all hating
Nah, the movie was good, man. Not
the ending.
the ending was dumb. I'm talking about the buildup. The ending was disappointing when he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna gas your kid with like a syringe thing in my arm and water kills it." And like, I'm going to the lake. That was all corny. But with like the closet scene with the cutting off of the fingers, awesome.
Listen, man, just like in poker, the river counts too, dude. The ending has to count.
Yeah, I know the ending does count, but I'm talking about in buildup of suspense to seeing the alien. So when you see it, they fuck it up in the last 20 minutes. But even when they're in the basement and it's like they're in there in the hands through the grate, those are good. That was like good suspense because you still were like, what do these look like up close? This is
Okay, so
crazy.
now let me ask you, because I went and saw Fall Guy in the weekend, but they had previews.
Was it good?
Should we try to see if we could do a live show from the premiere of Twisters, the sequel to Twister,
That would be tight. And
and then obviously the ghost of Ken Paxton can come.
yeah, Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Ken Paxton, I don't think is allowed to leave the state of Texas because
No, he
he's.
is because he was at Trump's trial
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, that's good. Good. Look out for his
before
boy.
Eric Trump.
Look out for his boy. Of course, he's Ken Paxton's like a son to him. It's like the son he wish he had.
That's right.
Even though you got a wonky
No,
eye.
no, he's got a wonky eye. Yeah,
no,
Trump,
he's like
Trump,
no, he overlooks it. He's like
no, Trump can't overlook. I guess he does overlook like Eric Trump's like autism.
even though you have the wonky eye, I still love you more than both of my sons, and Tiffany.
Yeah, but not Ivanka.
Yeah.
Therapy question number 2, Joseph. Would you rather have real political power but be relatively poor, or be ridiculously rich but have no political power?
Probably have political power, but be relatively poor.
Fuck that, dude. When you entered the word poor into the sentence, I'm out.
You'd be able to do so
What's
much.
relatively poor, anyways.
Well, I mean, that means like you
Poor
could get a lot done. That'd be like saying, okay, would you rather be like it's like being like a professional skateboarder or somebody where like like aside from their promo deals, the money that they make from everything isn't like a shit ton. But
Well, Nancy
where
Pelosi is the best stock picker in the history of stock picking.
but
You know what I'm saying?
but where they get a lot of their cool shit is like Red Bull buys them shit, gives them a house, gives them car. They get some of this stuff.
Yeah, like Clarence Thomas, but like that isn't. He's not relatively poor because he gets all the shit.
Yeah, I want all that shit. Give me all that shit and some
they're
real
saying
political power.
You don't get any of that.
No,
shit.
you would still get it because I'm not paying for it. I could use my political power to get it. I could influence my way into getting what I wanted rather than just being rich and nobody just being another rich dude. Mix it up. Political power.
I'd rather just be ridiculously rich.
Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't have any political power right now.
So you'd be like Elon Musk.
Oh, he has like anti-political power. He didn't like the White House had a huge like summit of all the electronic vehicle companies, and they didn't invite Tesla. This was like in the beginning of the Biden administration.
Yeah, he's a tool.
Therapy question number 3. Would you rather spend the rest of your life with a sailboat as your home, let's say 45-foot catamaran, or an RV as your home?
How big's this RV?
Like a good one.
Just some of the good ones.
Like big enough for you to like a person to feel comfortable as far as an RV can make you feel comfortable. I mean, I've never hung out in an RV.
Well, there's some wild ones now that are like $250,000.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm saying 45-foot catamaran. That shit's like $1 million. So.
See, the sailboat would be awesome because you
could literally go anywhere.
You could go anywhere, but it is also like terrifying. The idea of being out on the ocean, like homie don't fuck with the ocean like that. People,
but you don't have to be out in like.
What do you mean? Yeah, you are.
Just be like you just be like just harbor hopping.
Yeah, harbor hopping. You still got to go out deep enough to be going around.
You can't
I
go
don't
that
know.
far out, bro.
I don't know, man. There's something about a story about a black man on a catamaran alone in the ocean that sounds terrifying.
No,
And I'd be trying to
because
like
a black
recruit
man's never
people.
been on a catamaran. First of all.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if I'm ready for that pressure. Do I want to be in
No,
the
dude,
history books
I
for
sailed
that?
in the Caribbean on a catamaran, and it was all black people that lived there, and all of them,
Oh, I know. I
have
know.
been on catamarans. Come on.
Obviously. But the sailboat would be awesome, but that would just be, I have like a healthy fear of the ocean. Just don't fuck with the ocean like that.
I mean, I grew up in California.
Well, no,
Totally different, and got the
no.
privilege, the complexion for the protection in the
I
ocean.
I don't have no problems going
Mikey
out into the
Phelps.
ocean, but I'm saying is I don't take risks when it comes to that shit. So let's say me and you and some buddies are going to the coast and we're gonna go deep sea fishing. I could pay $1,000 to get on a nice ass boat and go deep sea fishing with a bunch of people, or I could pay $200 to get on shitty little skim boat and go out in the ocean with a bunch of people that I can barely talk to. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where I'm gonna fall off a boat and get left.
Okay, 45-foot catamaran, way safer than driving an RV for like 2 hours.
Yeah, but RV would also just be a vibe because then you could go, you could visit, it'd be easier, you could post up.
I agree. That's why this
That'd
is
be
this is a
cool.
Sophie's choice. Like,
Yeah,
this is why it's in
Sophie's
here.
choice. Jesus Christ. No,
Me, I'm a waterman. I'm gonna go with the sailboat.
Yeah, sailboat would be better.
Fucking on boats.
Sailboat would be better. I'm just saying, I would have to get over my rational.
Like, yo, Andy, where you at? I'd be like, dude,
rational
south of France.
I'd have to get over my rational and healthy fear of the ocean. Respect.
Yeah, I think
Respect
you would
for the ocean.
pretty quickly. Like once you realize, like, I'm a fucking man, and like, why can other men do this and not me?
It's not that I can't do it. I'm just like I've said this 1,000 times. Part of being black is risk aversion.
I know,
and
but
avoiding dangerous situations. Being out on the
Unless
ocean
you
on a
can't
catamaran.
swim, I'm saying
I
the
can
boat
swim.
is less dangerous than the fucking RV. Probably just get robbed in the RV while you're sleeping, man.
Maybe it's gonna be a baller ass RV, dude.
Unless you're sailing around Somalia or the Red Sea,
Might happen.
That's true. I'm down to battle some pirates.
That'd be wild. Solo white man in catamaran goes to battle with Somali pirates. That'd be epic.
The better looking Johnny Depp with more shit in my bed.
Heard it here first, folks.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Final therapy question. Therapy question number 4, Joseph. Would you rather be able to see 10 minutes into your own future or 10 minutes into the future of anyone but yourself?
See, I've thought about this. 10 minutes into your own future. I don't know how helpful that would be. It would.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It could be helpful, but seeing 10
You
minutes.
could be Tom Brady.
Seeing 10 minutes into anybody else's future would also be a pretty powerful thing. You could use that in a lot of different ways. I mean, it would be harder to make it applicable to decisions you make, but once you figured that out, you'd be able to like literally read a room. That'd be super powerful. And you could turn that, you could be a medium like that, be like, oh, your phone's gonna ring in 10 minutes, it's gonna be a great, and then it would fucking happen. That would trip people out. You'd be on Oprah in like 2 weeks once you went public.
Yeah, I mean,
shit.
and just think about the numbers. It's like you can do this parlor trick for one person, you, or for 7.5 billion people.
Yeah, so that's where it'd be like anyone else's future. You'd know decisions on like buys or sells. You could manipulate the stock market with that pretty well. You could short shit. Like there's all sorts of stuff you could do. You could utilize that. Your own future would be great. It'd be a very myopic view on like what you could do. It'd be 10 minutes into your own future. So you'd be able to predict if you were going to be robbed. You'd be able to predict if you were going to get a job or not.
Okay, so hold on, let's back up though. So like, if it's 10 minutes in your future, does that mean you can change it?
That's where also is like, could you? I don't know. I don't know if you'd be able to.
Are you just being notified of what's about to happen to you?
Yeah, so you're just like, what? Mentally
suck.
Yeah, you're just mentally preparing yourself for like, exactly. But knowing 10 minutes.
If I already got anxiety, like I don't need extra anxiety because I know what's happening, 10 minutes early.
10 minutes early, you could do a lot of
That's
stuff.
good for you though on the alarm though, because you get up, before it's.
So I mean, like if you were out getting drinks and you wanted to go talk to some chick and she would want to interact with you, you would know if that would happen before you even did it. So you'd be able to avoid bad situations or situations you don't want to be in, I guess. And
No, see, fuck that, because that no, because then you're soft.
no,
Like
no,
you like
because
you get no, because you get good at talking to girls by like it not being easy.
true. No, no, that's I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just saying you'd be able to know if you'd even be able to or not. You wouldn't necessarily know if it'd be a good conversation, bad conversation, but you could be like, in 10 minutes, I'm gonna go talk. No,
Yeah,
you
that's how you become bitch made.
or you could also be like, seriously, am I gonna get robbed when I go walk to my car? Do you know what I'm saying? Like you could predict some shit. Is like, what is it? What's the line gonna look like?
So are we able to turn this on and off, or is it just forced? You just know.
I mean, I think it'd have to be something like some Mel Gibson, like What Women Want, like you're in the bathtub and you get electrocuted or some shit reading a Vanity Fair, and next thing you know, you have the ability to like read women's minds, like that
I know,
ridiculous
but I'm saying
movie.
I'm saying like what
That's two Melly Gibson movies.
like do you have to be like to be like am I gonna get robbed? Like what are you asking if you're gonna get robbed? Like like are you tapping into this memory, or is it like you're just gonna know if you're gonna get robbed or not?
I mean, I guess you'd know if they were going to even initiate. That's what I'm saying. So it would only be 10 minutes. It'd be like Memento. You'd only get like flashes of what's happening or what's going to happen. So you wouldn't know
What
the
it'd be
conclusion.
like? It's like the Apple Vision Pro, the goggles that they came out, the reality goggles or the AR. It's kind of like that, like multiple screens. So you'd have like a screen where it's like the 10-minute feed. It's like kind of like in TV. You know how they have it like delayed a little bit so they can like bleep shit out.
Yeah.
Like on live TV. It's like that. So you have like one screen's got the live feed, the 10 minutes, and then you have the 10 minutes ahead on another screen.
Yeah. But being able to do that for others would definitely be more.
That's way more.
That's way more powerful.
Yeah,
way more powerful than just for yourself. Yourself would be self-serving, and it would be either good or bad. It wouldn't.
Well, it'd just be a lot more like limited. It's like
Yeah, you could make decisions.
I mean, it would be tight, but not as tight as the other one.
Yeah, it'd be easier to make decisions based off of what other people are going to do than just based off of what's bound to happen without knowing conclusions.
Like I know it's jujitsu, dude. I know what you're about to fucking do, so I'm gonna counter it every time with something way. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say preparation and anticipation are like 90% of being a functional good adult. Is like you gotta be.
Because you know what they say in Boy Scouts, or formerly known as Boy Scouts, as we'll get into right now.
Yeah.
Their motto is, "Be prepared."
For
anything. Anal rape.
Oh Jesus! Don't say that. Good Lord! But no, I do think that's like it's super important to be like. I don't think it's allegedly. They played out like $2.4 billion.
Right.
But
the fact that they have that money,
is wild. Yeah, based out of Plano, Texas. But no,
my dad was like big. He played like a big part in the Boy Scouts, like. Not like out there like with the Scouts, but like in like the organizational like corporate part of it.
Yeah.
Well,
give me a little insight on that.
But yeah, and so it's like I always had like a good opinion about the Boy Scouts. I dabbled in it because like my buddies were in it, but like I didn't take it too seriously. I did wear a Weeblo hat as my first hat of when I became a baseball umpire. I lied, said I did it before when I was 16, but I hadn't. And I had a Weeblo hat, which is blue, and then I was wearing it, and like one of the kids I was like umping, he's like on first base. He's like, "Is that a Weeblo hat?" I was like, "Turn around, don't look at me.
Focus on the game. You talk.
You.
Warning. That's a warning.
Dead ball.
Warning.
Dead ball. Hey, you. Sunflower seeds." But
no, it's true.
So I had just to finish my point, I always had like a positive thought about the Boy Scouts, and this is your boy was an altar boy, grew up like hardcore Catholic, I'm the first one calling out priests. It was like I never crossed my mind that Boy Scouts would be like that, and then as soon as like somebody brought it up, I'm like, oh, of course it is. It's like it was just like I had like a blind spot on it just because I'd never had any like negative interaction with the Boy Scouts, and then it was like as soon as like there was like one allegation, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, like how did we let this happen?
Yeah, no, definitely. But no, like I do think that like being anticipating and preparing for anything is to like, because at a certain point in your life you reach where it's like anything's possible and you should be prepared for anything. You should anticipate that anything's going to happen, right? So, and if you're ready and prepared, whether that be financially or whatever, it makes everything that happens a little bit easier to deal with. And that's like true for business, true for anything. It's just like anticipate shit to happen and be prepared, and like,
The way they go about it is expect the best, prepare for the worst. The storm's coming. How are you going to deal with it?
Is that a cue drop? What do you this
No,
the storm's
no,
coming?
it kind of did. It kind of did.
Jeez,
Yeah,
dude.
sorry, my bad.
I didn't know we were dropping
No,
cue
my,
bombs
one of
on.
my spiritual counselors, Elijah, he was like, he's this cool dude, but he was always saying, he's like, I'm not like spirituality is not all about like fucking like just being happy and like and like all the time in the light all the time. He's like, because like the darkness is gonna come. He's like, it's just about like being like being able to weather the storm.
Yeah. True. Ready to get into these articles?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. No, I gotta tell the story real quick because my buddy Eugene popped up. Before we get into this would be a heavy article, I guess. But so Eugene was my neighbor when I was living in Austin. He is coolest motherfucker ever. One day I was coming home from riding my bike and was jamming out. And I guess when I came up the stairs, there was his door. There was this crazy motherfucker named Sean who lived next door to me who was like super creepy. And then there was me and my roommate's place on the end of this long hallway that was a dead end with a balcony that was like overlooking the parking lot. And
Where was this?
This was in Austin. This was over kind of by Rolls-Royce Joyce, but a little bit on the other side of
No, I
town.
just meant like what city? Like
Oh yeah,
how
Austin.
old?
So
I was thinking like south. Like
no, so I was like what, like 22, 23 maybe, and walking up the stairs with my bike. And when I turned with my bike to go up the stairs, my bike was a beast. And I had on my shoulder, I bumped his door. When I bumped his door, I knock all of these pictures off of his wall. I have no idea. I'm jamming out to fuck if I know, like MSI or
Rebecca Black.
311. Could have been Rebecca Black because that was probably peak Rebecca Black. And I was jamming out to something, bump his door, have no idea, go in my place, put my bike up, and I go, and this is when I was still smoking cigarettes, so I just got done cycling like 20 something miles, and now I want a cigarette. Classic. So I'm outside and I'm just smoking a cigarette with my headphones in, and I'm overlooking the balcony. I'm just like vibing out and don't hear anything because it's loud as fuck in my ears. And I turn around. When I turn around, Eugene's a big dude. Eugene's a big black guy, man. He's like, you see Eugene, you're like, I don't want to fuck with that guy. Turn around, Eugene's standing there, and he's screaming at me, and I can't hear him. And he thinks I'm ignoring him because he can't see my headphones. So I turn around and I pull my headphones out. And this is some old shit. Motherfucker is standing there holding a blicky, being like, why the fuck are you fucking with me? Who the fuck do you think you are? Screaming at me. Because I knocked off pictures of like his family, his grandma. Like he thought I did it on purpose.
Eugene, did you tell Eugene? Maybe don't put pictures there if somebody can hit the door from the
No, I was a
side
dick.
and
No,
knock them off.
No, because like the way I was walking with my bike, like it was super careless. Like I knocked his wall. Like I bumped into the wall. I didn't realize it because my bike was huge. So when I turned, it like smacked his wall. That'd be like if you walked by and hit somebody's front door, pushed it. You would have to do it, but it was with my back tire. And he came out and was trying to get my attention for like 5 minutes. And was like, hey, dude, what the fuck? And I was just looking over the edge, smoking a cigarette. And so then we calmer heads prevail. We calm down, apologize, go our separate ways. This is the first time we've interacted or talked, and I'd seen him maybe about 3 or 4 times. 2 days later, I'm sitting on this chair, and it's like when you reach a certain step count, like you're coming to our door. There's no way you're not, because it's the end of the hallway, and where there's a balcony. So I hear this like door open and close, and it sounds like it's his, and I hear these long like these big shuffle heavy footsteps, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's the neighbor, bro. I was like, oh fuck, and I'm playing 2K, like 2K whatever, and knocks on the door, and I look, and I open the door, and it's him. He's like, hey bro, my bad, I'm really sorry I got so heated. super nice dude. Eugene's the best. And then he's like, so hey man, I just got done cooking. And he had his hands behind his back. He turns around, he gives me these like 3 Dixie plates.
Crack rocks?
No,
I thought he was
ribs,
cooking up in the kitchen.
ribs, cornbread, baked beans, collard greens. Gave me this like big like send home from like your grandma's house, just plate of food. It was like what he said was he was like, hey man, so I wanted to apologize, give you something. He goes, and I hope you're a meat eater, and just handed me this huge fucking plate of food. Man, we've been best friends ever since, bro. Wild. But that's how I met Eugene.
I mean, he came out with the piece.
No, so he came out and tried to get my attention and was like, "Hey, dude," like was trying to get my attention because it was me. Like I banged the door,
No,
they
but
all
you
fall.
said
Yo, and then he went back inside because he thought
he
I
went
was
back and got it. Like
he
he
thought I
was
was
like
being
Ja
a-
Morant or something.
and Gene is like great dude, great dad. Like he thought I was fucking with him. Like he thought that complex was crazy. There was like car break-ins, people robbing people's apartments. So he thought like I was fucking with his shit, and he tried to get my attention, and I just was ignoring him because I couldn't hear him. So he was like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Like I was messing with his shit.
Shout out Eugene, man.
No, dude, he's the G. Great fucking dude.
And if you guys need a gun without a serial number, you know where to go.
No, he's not. It's definitely that one. It was. I mean,
Allegedly.
I mean, you know,
I mean,
it's
Texas.
Texas.
I guess
Texas.
you know
I destroyed his property. Like I'm saying, like pictures of like his grandma and shit, like hit the ground on the hardwood floors and like, shh, they had to buy new frames and shit. Like,
Oh.
so no, I'm just saying that would piss somebody off, especially you know,
All right. Let's move it along.
piss me off. We're getting into articles. But shout out Gene, bro. Fucking love me some Gene, dude. Boy Scouts of America changing name to more inclusive Scouting America after years of woes. Irving, Texas. And like, what's funny is this whole time when we were kids, I had no idea until I found out all this weird shit was going on, that it was like based out of here. So it was like creeper headquarters. But
I don't think it's like that. It's not like the Catholic Church.
no, I don't. Well,
The Catholic Church was just like it would just like.
Did you
shit
watch?
the
Have you watched?
priest-
Have you watched the documentary about Boy Scouts of America and like
No.
what they were doing and like all these files? They found like tons of files that were like allegations and accusations of people doing this and moving people. So they like did that shit. They covered shit up. So they're having to pay out.
But I feel like
so
with the
many
Catholic
people.
Church, the people moving people are people that probably should be also bounced too. You know, it's like I don't feel
They
like
all
the,
should, like,
the
there's-
leadership of the Boy Scouts is like running some like child molestation syndicate. Like
No, but they were
like
covering.
the Catholic Church is.
But they no, I wouldn't. But in some ways they were. That's why they paid out 2.4 billion. Is what I'm still on. Look, because in the documentary they find all of these files of accusations, police reports, people being accused of this stuff, all sorts of kids on multiple people, like tons of files where they're like in Boy Scouts, like where it's official Boy Scouts documents where they purposely took them. And like these, we have to shush this shit up. So there was definitely a suppression.
I don't want to like argue which one's worse.
No,
I'm trying,
I'm not
like,
saying.
I guess what I was trying to say is that the difference I was thinking is like they're both trying to cover it up, both doing the same thing. But the people at the Catholic Church who are trying to cover it up are also probably perpetrators. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh no, true.
Whereas like the leadership at Boy Scouts is like, fuck, we don't want to fuck up the money or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Irving, Texas. This is by Jamie Stingle. Boy Scouts of America announced after 114 years, it's wild to think that Irving's been around that long, that it will change its name and will become Scouting America in an effort to emphasize inclusion as it works to move past the turmoil of bankruptcy and a flood of sexual abuse claims. The rebrand is another seismic shift for the organization steeped in tradition, which will not allow gay youths or which did not allow gay youths or girls to begin joining its ranks until relatively recently. Seeking to boost flagging membership numbers, the Irving, Texas-based organization announced the name change Tuesday at its annual meeting in Florida. In the next 100 years, we want any youth in America to feel very, very welcome to come to our programs. I'd probably cut down the varies, bro.
I mean, this shit pisses me off real quick. Like, you and I should be appointed the czar of names, and like so when they like do these like rebrands, like I feel like I need to be in the room because like I'm never like happy with like what they come up with, like with all the Native American sports teams when they change. It's like, come on, man, we could do better than that. Like just like give it like 20 more minutes of brainstorming. Like what are we doing? Like scouting America? What?
That just sounds like the end of a sentence that
You got
like
an adverb in there?
that
Yeah,
sounds like the end of like some dramatic
right.
opening, like, 15-minute line in some adventure movie. All right, gang, let's get in the car. We're gonna go scouting America,
America.
scout America, and then then it's like the credits roll or like the opening credits start to roll or some shit on
Yeah.
cheesy episode. It sounds dumb, like maybe that's the line I don't
You could have been
remember.
like Scouts of America, but it makes more sense than
That
than Scouting America.
That's the conversation that was said in the car of Land of the Lost before, like when they were driving out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I think they had that idea when it came to The Hills Have Eyes. Scouting America does not normally go well for people, or
No,
it didn't, and it didn't.
The Boy Scouts don't either. Apparently, the Boy
Yeah,
Scouts don't
yeah,
either. So,
yeah. I mean, it's scouting.
they're keeping with tradition.
Yeah.
Be prepared for more sexual assault.
The change will officially take place in February 8th, 2025, timed with the organization's 115th birthday. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of I as somebody who is close to it, I'd go watch it. It's an interesting documentary to watch. How they came across all these documents in the first place is super interesting. Then the investigations that went to it that tie with local news stories, and they date back so far. So a lot of the big issues that were going on with that was definitely like 60 or 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, kind of in the 90s. But there was a period of time like that Mad Men era of just like business, and that was like permeating where it was just covering for shitty dudes. There was a shitty dude who was in charge of covering up and making sure that these allegations all went away, but kept documentation on all of these, and not all of them, but a majority of these allegations. And it's like just seeing that spider web built is wild. It makes sense why they had to pay out so much money when you look at the sum total and how many people were paid. It's not like, it broke out. It's like Aaron Brockovich, like everybody in the town, they're 60 40
Right,
million dollars. Everybody gets like $1,500.
Yeah, like a lot. Yeah, Boy Scouts is like ubiquitous. It's like all over the goddamn country. Like so many people are involved. And the fact that they even have billions, like then they should get slapped with billions.
Well,
in fines.
they filed for bankruptcy. So I mean,
I know. I thought it was like a nonprofit. What the fuck? Real quick, do you think like Eagle Scouts get like way too much credit, like in real life? You know what I'm saying? Like recently, a couple times recently, like somebody's like, oh yeah, like my brother is an Eagle Scout. Like I was like, I don't like. Am I supposed to be impressed by that?
if that's the beginning of a story, like, oh, my brother, he's a Navy SEAL, he's a fucking badass, and it's wild because then he was Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, and then he was that would be cooler than if it's just like this is Todd the accountant
writing on its own. Yeah, that was the peak of their
This
adventurism.
is Jim Bob. He works in sales, and he used to be an Eagle Scout, but he doesn't.
I feel like when people say that, like tell you somebody's an Eagle Scout, that they expect you to just to like be impressed.
I mean, I think it's impressive in the dedication,
fuck you,
and
like,
the time and
like,
structure it would take, especially at that age, to reach that level is difficult. Because
don't be fucking telling me you're an Eagle Scout when you're 37. Like, I don't care.
Well, yeah, because that just means that if we go to the dock, like, you insist on tying the knots for the boat.
Good.
Like,
I didn't want to tie them anyway.
well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
I don't want to tie the knot in marriage. I don't want to tie these fucking knots at the dock.
I mean, unless we're on like the show Lost or something, I could see it kind of being
but even
helpful.
then, we're by ourselves.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not that applicable past a certain point.
Well, what, tie knots?
No, just like we're just being an Eagle Scout, being an Eagle Scout,
especially with all the trauma, the sexual trauma that you have to go through to get there.
Allegedly.
I mean, well, I'm just saying because I'm a math guy. To be an Eagle Scout means that you have to be in the Boy Scouts the longest amount of time. So therefore, you have the most amount of time to be sexually assaulted. So I would say probably, and I don't know this to be a fact, that on average, more Eagle Scouts have been molested than any of the other.
I don't know about that.
Because they've been there the longest.
Generational
you suck some
Scout.
dick if you want to get that Eagle Scout badge.
Jesus. Generational of scouts have included presidential candidates Bill Clinton, Gerald Ford, Buzz Aldrin, Harrison Ford, Steven Spielberg. Part of my job is to reduce all the barriers I possibly can for people to accept us as an organization and join. Which I mean, like, and you can't knock them. Like the overall mission of what they seek out to do is no,
You sound like a Catholic Church apologizing.
no. Like I don't know. What I'm saying is, I think that what they try to do isn't necessarily bad, but there are obviously people who've infiltrated it, and their big issue is in being aware of it, not addressing it, and stopping it, and being
Okay, well,
complicit.
can I ask you this? Is what they do necessarily good?
I think for some people, I bet you could find more people that would say that it had a positive impact.
Is the juice worth the squeeze here? Like,
I mean,
do
well,
we
that's
really
like
need Boy Scouts?
it's just another it's a form of like boys girls club or something like that, where it's giving people an opportunity to learn something. It's putting it's back in the day it would put boys in like learning
yeah,
situations.
but the risk not worth the reward here.
It's I mean, I know, I do think it started with some
It's not like college, like where it's like, well, you
machismo.
have to go to college.
Well, no, it's like some machismo indoctrinational shit, but I think that it can also be a good form for kids that are struggling or struggle at home or struggle away from stuff. I think it's a good escape for people, for sure. For me as a kid, it would, because I wasn't in Boy Scouts, where there have been times where that would have been beneficial to me, not dealing with all this crazy stuff just on its face. Absolutely. Like that would have been something that would have been better.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is like if there's a 5% chance that you're going to be sexually assaulted, like in a serial fashion, like it, the best outcome of Boy Scouts is not worth that risk.
I would know, but to say that society would allow that, would say that you could, there's a chance you could be essayed and more than 5% in any type of situation, like when this stuff was at its peak and going on. I mean, you could say that there was societal
I'm trying to be
issues.
conservative.
No, I'm saying there would be societal issues in general when it came to that, not just at Boy Scouts, not just at the Catholic Church, but also in like domestic abuse at home and sexual.
Oh yeah, like
sexual
people talk about like
abuse
the
at
creepy
school,
uncle, and it's
like
what
at school and all sorts of shit. So I mean, that was permeating throughout a lot of culture, but there was a lot of people who utilized Boy Scouts as a tool to do that, and they did nothing to stop it. And it's the same with the Catholic Church. By being complicit in the cover up makes you complicit in the whole thing, whether you like it or not. You
no,
just
I
are.
totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm not exonerating anybody.
No, I know you're not.
Like at all. Like I'm just thinking of like because like the whole Catholic Church, it's all made up. It's all made up bullshit. Like they're selling a fucking lie. I could just see like the Boy Scouts, like corporation, being like actually like there for the mission. Find out like they have this huge problem, cover that shit up. But you said it's been going on since the fucking 50s, so it's like like this shit is just.
Yeah, I mean,
it's probably like a Venn diagram of like priests being involved in Boy Scouts.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's all these things are connected and they correlate, and then it's like you got
when people and then like all these like QAnon freaks who are like there's like a cabal like like Hillary Clinton and
dude, Twitter is so
blah, blah, blah.
wild.
It's like you don't have to have a conspiracy theory. There is a cabal. It is the Catholic Church. They are it is a mass conspiracy to like harm children. Like it's right here. Like I mean, what and Boy Scouts the same thing. You don't have to make it up.
Yeah, and that's where it's like whenever when a portion of your organization is dedicated to covering that stuff up, then it's like, and like you're in on it. Like at that point, you're just in on it.
I don't even want to hear any more of like how it's good life lessons learned. It's it's like that's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that there's
go watch a YouTube video.
It's the whole situation. I just definitely suggest anybody go watch that documentary.
Isn't it weird that like none of these scandals are going to be happening like in the brownies? It's just it's always like men.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, there's people who will take advantage of anything. I mean, now with social media and all this, you see tons of stuff about teachers and inappropriate relationships and like all these things that's way more of like an issue than I think people thought it was. And there's
like I heard somebody talking about like how like back in the day like like even with us, like I think we were like probably the last generation, like we go like outside, play, ride our bikes, we didn't have cell phones, we just come back before dark, Our parents had no fucking clue where the fuck we were, and it was way more dangerous back then. Like there was like like you were saying, like a shit like a epidemic of like child molesters and and there was no cell phone, so you couldn't, and nobody cared. Now it's like everybody's like guarding their kids so much, and like they're all like worried and they can't go play outside by themselves, and it's like so much more safe now like out in society than it was back then.
Yeah,
And
but I mean, I think it is, but I also it's kind of not because now there's other ways for people
well,
to try to get at
I'm
people.
saying
So,
like the aspect of playing outside is safe.
oh, no,
That
definitely,
specifically,
definitely. Because
that
I remember
specifically.
like being a
but
kid.
but everybody's like overprotective now when they should have been back in the day.
Well, yeah, like I mean, I remember life pre Amber Alert,
Exactly.
and then I remember like talking about some kid in Dallas that got abducted and no one could find them, and they have a description of the car, and it was like when shit like that happened, you weren't allowed to go play outside. It was like, nah, stay in for the night, for go play video games all day, go do say, which was the opposite of what our parents wanted us to do. They're like, get the fuck out of the house, go do something.
My parents were not concerned about Amber Alerts, bro.
No, but then that when that happened, it put into context like, oh, we need to have a way that's quick and effective to let people know so we can get a jump on catching them if they do abduct a kid. The whole point of it was like, hey, this could happen and nobody knows about it, so we need to come up with a way to notify people whenever somebody gets abducted. And now you'll get those, we all get Amber Alerts, and it's like, and to think like life before that, it would just be you watch the news at 3 o'clock earlier today, some kid went missing. This is a description of the person in the
That's a
car,
wrap.
and it's just like boom. And now we have a whole show called The First 48. So it's like, and that's the first 48. If like, or if you don't find some missing person in 48 hours or solve a murder in about 48 to 72 hours, then the chances of dropping it, of solving that murder, drop dramatically. It's like the math is wild, like more than half of it, the time you're not even going to figure out what happened.
I think that I know that's true, but like I think it's misleading because I think it's not because they had time to like get away. It's because the crime was unsolvable in those 48 hours, so therefore it's more likely that they're not gonna be able to solve the case than if they were able to like figure it out within 48 hours. You know
Well,
what I'm
yeah, I
saying?
mean, you could make that. It's a big umbrella, and you could make smaller ones underneath it. Well, it's like, well, what's the percentage if it's outside of 48 hours, but they have DNA evidence or fingerprints or
Right,
what's
right, right.
like? Yeah, definitely. There's way more. That's just a broad paintbrush they paint
I know,
with to
but like
suck
the
you
way they
in.
sell no, but like the way they sell it on the show, it's like, oh, if we don't like chase these people down, like they're gonna get away, and it's like, no, it's more like they didn't get enough evidence within 48 hours. That means it's gonna be hard to solve.
But I mean, I think making a 20-year-old Eagle Scout and Assistant Scoutmaster from the Dallas area, having it nationally recognized that girls are being welcomed and included in scouting will allow it to be a more safe space. Like, yeah, they 2.4 billion in bankruptcy reorganization plan took effect last year, allowing the organization to keep operating while compensating more than 80,000 men who said they were
Yo, where's my
abused.
checks?
80,000 who say they were abused while in scouting. That's huge. That's such a big number.
Dude, I went through the gauntlet, bro. Altar boy, Boy Scout. Do I have
What was your ad?
do I have like traumatic memories that I've blocked out that like one day are gonna just come back and be like, oh, I didn't make it through unscathed.
Well, I mean, there might be times where
I'm
like
kidding.
somebody did like said something weird, but like you didn't get it.
No,
But no, I mean, what was including? Wait, there's a Ted Cruz quote. Hold on, Ted Cruz said something about it. Girl Scouts of America USA is a separate organization as clashed with Boy Scouts in recent years over its recruitment of girls. The Girl Scouts did not respond to requests seeking comment Tuesday. A wave of reaction to the change on social media included criticism that the word boy will no longer appear in the name, including from Republican Senator Ted Cruz, not Tom Cruise. Um, yeah, that's Ted Cruz doesn't like it because boys aren't in it. Girls were like, you can join the Boy Scouts of America and just make it one big organization, because they used to say Girl Scout can't join the Boy Scouts, so we're going to start our own organization, and now they're going to be more inclusive and let you in, and you're mad.
who's mad? The girls?
The Girl Scouts of America USA are pissed off that the Boy Scouts
Oh,
or
because
Scouting America
they're taking
taking girl applicants now, so now they're pissed.
yeah, that is kind of fucked.
Yeah, just join. Just they're going bankrupt. Help them out, save them.
Save them? Why? Like we don't need this institution. Like who the fuck
It won't
is the lobby?
officially become Scouting America until next year, but they expect to use the name immediately. It sends a really strong message to everyone in America that they can come to this program. They can bring their authentic self. They can be who they are, and they will be welcomed here. There's definitely new people in charge.
Also dumb. You just like fucked up the money too by calling it Scouting America. So now you can't go global with this. Come on, idiots.
Article number 2, Stormy Day in Court. This is from the BBC, written by Kayla Epstein and Madeline Halpert, reporting from court. For years, Stormy Daniels faced off against Donald Trump. So Donald Trump had to sit there and listen to her testify.
Okay, well, real quick, let me set the stage here because I was awake. Donald Trump is not allowed to know what witnesses that they're calling each day ahead of time because he can't be trusted to not try to intimidate the witness before they get on the witness stand. So normally the defense gives you like a complete heads up, like, hey, this is the schedule. This is like who we're bringing up and when. So they can't do that with Trump. So he has no idea. So this morning, like 3 o'clock my time, 6 a.m. like New York, Trump truce that just found out who the witness is today. This is unprecedented. Like nobody's ever like he's like losing it. Deleted 10 minutes later because the judge had just told him yesterday that he's violated the gag order 10 times and that he will throw him in jail. If it continues, and he goes, trust me, the last thing I want to do is put you in jail. You're the former president of the United States and might be the president of the United States again. I don't want to do that, but I will. Like that was like verbatim what he said to him. But, yeah.
Yeah, but for years, Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump have been locked into a public battle over an alleged sexual encounter, a hush money deal paid by former president's fixer, Michael Cohen, and the respective efforts to own the very public narrative. She came in. She was wearing a loose fitting.
So Stormy Daniels was the witness that Trump was notified of this morning that was going to testify today, and she did.
Yeah, those tensions and salacious details that surrounded them spilled out in court on Tuesday when Miss Daniels took the stand in Donald Trump's criminal trial to face him in court for the first time. The former adored star, wearing loose-fitting black clothes, her hair pinned back, did not look at the president or former president for most of the day, except when she noted his dark blue suit after she is asked to point him out. She spent most of the time standing and recounting the sexual encounter that she claims they had with the defendant.
Yeah,
that would be so cringy.
Like real quick, so before the jury's in the courtroom, they like the lawyers and the judge, they're discussing, and the judge says, okay, because Trump is still denying that he even had sex with her, right? That's like their official statement in court, is that it's like, let alone all these documents, showing that they paid her $280,000. And in the words of Mitt Romney, what do I think about this? Well, I think that you don't pay someone $230,000 not to have sex with you. Quote from Mitt Romney. But Trump is still saying he hasn't had sex with her in court. Judge says that the prosecution's allowed to say they had sex, but not go into details. Stormy Daniels fucking just goes off into details, and Trump's lawyers are like idiots. They don't really object like as much as they should be, because like they weren't allowed to be going into all these details about like the sex and like what like all that because it's irrelevant to the case.
Yeah.
And then Trump's lawyers at the end asked for a mistrial because that the lawyer's like, there's no coming back from this. The jury heard all of that, like even if you strike it from the record. And the judge was like, yeah, it like kind of went too far, but definitely not like calling a mistrial because of it. And his reasoning was like, you guys didn't even like object to like half the shit that you're complaining about now. Like you just let it go. Like the judge objected one time, like himself. He was like, objection sustained, because like Trump's lawyers weren't doing it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, maybe that was their whole plot, is just to let it run and then try to get a mistrial based off of it.
Well, I mean, they're just gonna ask for, it's like they have, it's
I think
asking
they've
for mistrial is free,
yeah, they've done it like 100 times. She spent much of her time, yeah, recounting um, that she claimed she had the defendant, an act that sparked the allegations at the heart of the case and pushing back at his legal team's scathing questions. Mr. Trump, meanwhile, spent parts of her evidence cursing and shaking his head. That prompted a warning from the judge, according to court transcripts published at the end of the day. He does face 34 felonies. These charges stem from 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. The charges stem from an alleged attempt to conceal a $130,000 payment to Daniels, aimed to keep her quiet about about them fucking. And this was part of the catch and kill. That's why having the guy who does the New York Post,
David Pecker
there, and giving him talking about just this. This was like not the first. This is one of the first ones, but definitely not one of the last. There was a bodyguard that they paid 30.
No, this wasn't really one of the first ones, but I mean, this was like a part of the election, but they were doing this like even like before he was like in political office, but they just like really ramped it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so they brought him in because like the reasoning there was to show that this was like something that Trump had been involved in, because like what Trump is like, kind of like their argument is that Cohen paid for it himself. Trump had no idea, so that this was going on, and so therefore it can't be a crime. And so they're like, okay, look at this is the guy who was doing it with the Stormy Daniels, and he's just telling you how they had this whole scheme, and they were doing it with multiple people. We said Ted Cruz's dad killed JFK and like mashed up a picture like with him and like Lee Harvey Oswald. Like that's how far they went.
Yeah.
So it's like so Trump knows of the scheme, okay, and then they bring in like the guy who has like all the checks and like the documents, and like Trump signs every single check that goes out of the Trump organization personally in a Sharpie. So, and like this lady went up there, she's like the controller for the Trump organization. She was like, oh yeah, and if he doesn't want to sign it, he'll just void it right there. Like he checks every single check. And then they asked like, who else has authorization to sign checks at the Trump organization? She said nobody. So it's like, of course he knew. And they paid Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen, his lawyer, fronted the money to pay Stormy Daniels for the NDA, the hush money, and then they agreed to pay Michael Cohen back in $35,000 increments per month. And so there's checks of $35,000 being sent to Michael Cohen every month, signed by Donald Trump, and it's the amount plus he got a $60,000 bonus. So it's like 35,000 times 12. It's like he $420,000 that Trump paid Michael Cohen back for paying Stormy Daniels.
And she provided such lurid details about her encounter with Trump that the former president's lawyers called for a mistrial. The judge said there were some things that would have been better left unsaid.
For everybody.
The trial's already dredged up an underworld of tabloid publishers and Hollywood lawyers. One of them was employed by Miss Daniels to broker the hush money payment. Her testimony on Tuesday appeared to be a step too far for the judge, as well as Mr. Trump's defense team, however. And this was back in 2006. There was 2 subsequent meetings. Where is it? Where did I just see this? This is not the first time that she shared her details about the sexual encounter with Mr. Trump. Since the deal came to light, she has told her story on national television in a self-titled documentary to America's most famous broadcast journalist in her first book, Full Disclosure. But this was the first time she shared it with the man while the man she claimed she had sex with just sat feet away from her. And the morning session.
She also said that she hated him when she was on the stand.
Yeah. The witness appeared nervous, speaking with a brisk pace that both the prosecutor, Susan Hoffinger, and the justice asked her to slow down. At times she appeared that the evidence she got... It also appeared that her evidence got away from the prosecutor, Miss Hoffer, who received a stern warning from the judge to better control her witness. Yeah, I mean, what is it? The Miss
I mean,
Daniels.
don't bring a porn star that might have addiction issues like onto the witness stand if you want them to slow down. You know.
She told the court that she initially did not want to have dinner with Mr. Trump, but her publicist encouraged her, saying, "What could possibly go wrong?" The line drew laughs from the courtroom. She then described arriving at Trump's suite later for dinner, where he met her at the door wearing silk pajamas.
Gross.
That's pretty gross. Yeah, this is the kind of testimony that makes it impossible to come back from. Damn, that's just rough, man. But I mean, for that's what's interesting about the Stormy Daniels whole scandal is it actually cracked open the door to so much other stuff that we weren't aware of, like the catch and kill schemes, him using his bodyguard's phone to contact her and work this deal. So if Trump was contacting her, he never used his phone.
He doesn't have a phone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is so that was why people were like, oh. Well, he definitely does for Twitter and stuff like that. But in 2006, yeah, he definitely has a phone.
Well, I'm saying he never sends a text message. He's never sent an email.
Well, but if he does,
so okay, yeah, he like for Twitter, he might be dictating that. I don't know.
No, I think he uses like this is the whole thing is in this. What's come to light is that he always uses like his bodyguard's phone, somebody else's phone, never uses his phone when he'd be making these phone calls, and it's kind of obvious. But that's where when you think the Secret Service, everybody that was on his presidential detail wiping their phones before they turned them in after January 6th, whose phones would he be using if he was calling like John Eastman or somebody? Probably a Secret Service guy's phone and not his own phone, right?
Maybe like Meadows or something. I don't know.
No, but right, like I mean,
you don't have to use the Secret Service guy's phone when you're the fucking president. You know, what I'm saying?
But
they had to like pry the BlackBerry out of Obama's hands. Like, dude, you don't get a phone, bro.
But what I'm saying is that's like a mafia style mentality where he knows that if
that is mafia shit.
Yeah,
like, John Gotti, rest his soul. He died like a dog. He told me don't ever send an email.
Don't respond to texts. But it's true. Like
no emojis.
But it's true. Like that makes sense. But though it's cracked open the door to the catch and kill scheme. Now we've got David Pecker talking about all this stuff. So now we realize there's been all of these other stories and all of these other scandals. All these other people paid. And so it's not just her. It's just hers was with like she got paid with some campaign funds to hush stuff. So it was way more about.
Right before
election,
the election, like 2 weeks before the election.
Yeah, like election manipulation or trying to manipulate the narrative and protect yourself. Election interference.
So just for people know, and whether you agree with this or not, or think it's stupid or not, it is illegal in the United States to actively try to cover up information that would be relevant to the voting public, like during an election. That's just illegal. You can't do that. So Trump trying to cover up the fact that he cheated on his pregnant wife with a porn star because the Access Hollywood video came out where he admitted to raping E. Jean Carroll, basically. Just came out. This in October. Elections in November. They're like, oh shit, we got to get Stormy Daniels covered up because there's no way we're gonna win the election if the porn star shit comes out. And then they use campaign money, and then they tried to cook or fix the documents to make it seem like that they didn't use campaign money. So it's like that they committed a crime in furtherance to commit another crime, and that's what he's being charged for.
Yeah, it was just a waterfall of crimes to keep everybody from knowing that
they forged documents to make it seem like the campaign didn't pay Stormy Daniels to cover it up. And that's obviously what happened.
And honestly,
if he wasn't such a cheap fuck and just paid it himself.
Yeah, and that's where it's pretty wild when it's not, but it is when you think about in theory, a lot of the things that he is in trouble for is falsifying documents, creating fake paper trails, lying about stuff that he has, and then sending fake paperwork saying he's given everything. Like a lot of what he does is he says he's done something that he hasn't done, and where he gets in trouble is then he goes and tries to create a paper trail to prove that he did what he did.
It's the most cliche thing. ever. It's not the crime, it's the cover up.
Yeah, it's the lies beget more lies.
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, exactly. It's him. Like the FBI. It's not even the FBI. The National Archives called him up like 4 times. Like, hey, bud, like, can we just get those documents back? And he's like, yo, lawyer, don't tell him we have the documents. I'm putting them in the bathroom.
And put him
Tell
in the
Don
plane.
Jr. to bring the coke in the back.
Put it in the plane. Let's get it the fuck out of here.
Right, like, you know,
So,
so like all he had to do was be like, oh yeah, here's the documents. No, because this dude's doing something fucking like the fact that we like everybody hasn't like lost their mind about like what is he actually doing with these documents? Like everybody's just like chalked it up to Trump's like a fucking idiot, and it's like, nah, man, why is he so like wanting to keep these documents? What is he doing with these documents? Like, of course he's like selling them to the Saudis and the Russians, dude.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that's like probably
Which
the
is
most
in fucking treason.
the most probable outcome is the most likely.
I know.
Like when,
And then
when all
today
other ones-
the judge for the documents case just indefinitely suspended the trial date.
Yeah, I saw that. But before we get into that real quick, but no, like you think about it, like it's the same with the Arizona election case and all that stuff, and then like the witness, like the fake electors and all that. That's all fraud. All of those people who made those fraudulent documents, they're all being charged. Everybody in Arizona just got criminally charged with that. That's a shit ton of people for forging documents. A lot of these motherfuckers are in trouble for creating fake paper trails. And that's something that's so concrete that exists because they turned them the fuck in. That's what's crazy. It's not that you cheated on the test, it's that you turned in the test that you cheated on with the fucking answer sheet that your buddy gave you stapled to the back. It's like, it's obviously a fraudulent document and you gave it to us. It's not that you cooked it up and you made it, and then you didn't turn it, you turned it the fuck in. It's like you'd have been better off not turning in anything or just taking the results of the election on face value than going through this fake paper trail.
Can you imagine, like if Trump didn't do January 6th and all this shit, and then he was just running for re-election?
Yeah, he'd probably win.
Landslide.
He'd probably win. But
Yeah.
but it's like, and now all of that because of January 6th, and he wouldn't just fuck off and leave.
Right.
And because of that, now we know about Stormy Daniels, and we know
No,
about all
no,
these.
we knew
No,
about
we knew
Stormy
about
Daniels way
Stormy
before
Daniels,
that.
but now we know about Stormy Daniels and the bodyguard and all these the catch and kill scheme. It's been going on since before he announced he was running for presidency to try to catch and kill shit and make himself look good, and all these little shady deals that he's done that he did previously to lie and then became crimes when he continued to do it to withhold information from the American public during the election. So he already was doing that, but then it became criminal and he kept doing it, and we know about that because of January 6th. We know about the fake electors and all that shit because they chose to do that and go through with all of that on January 6th. There's, dozens of people, maybe 100 people, over hundreds of people that have major legal ramifications, whether they're a protester, they tried to steal a pulpit, they were tampering.
You know what MAGA stands for?
Well, like the woman in Maricopa County who unlocked the door in Arizona to let people in to go fuck with voting machines and try to pull data. That bitch has already been charged. The guys who did it were charged. Like
MAGA. Making attorneys get attorneys.
Yeah, it's true though. It's these people being disbarred. We learned who Sidney Powell was, and then she's.
The fact that she passed the fucking bar is crazy. I think I could pass the bar.
And then we know about John Eastman, and we know about all these stupid fuckers who were doing all this dumb shit. I mean, we don't have George Santos if it's not for Donald Trump and January 6th.
Why?
Because he rode the back wave of that. At that point, it was like, yeah. George Santos won election after January 6th, right?
Right, a special election, yeah.
Yeah, special election. And all that is because everybody was so riled up about January 6th. They started
So they elected a Republican in New York?
Yeah, because they were like, look at us. We hired a gay, black, Jewish, Hispanic.
Right. He's a liberal. He just doesn't know yet.
Whose mama died in 9/11. Like, he's
like it's in New York. I don't know.
And what I'm saying is that's a big amalgamation of lies, bold. That's why I said it's like he's like Trump on steroids. George Santos was like the wildest thing. What wouldn't he lie about to get into office? Because he saw it being applicable to the road in front of him. It worked for Trump. Why wouldn't it work for me? I got a better angle. I'm a minority. So it's and like he did that
Is
after
he?
he did
Is he?
because you could sit there. Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, George.
No, he's not. Don't say definitely.
Yeah, he's def.
Like you can tell me he's the whitest white dude ever, and I believe you.
Maybe it's possible.
Like, don't say definitely
And now,
minority.
and now he's doing well. You got to be. There's too many things.
He has a majority of the pronouns.
if 10% of anything he said about where he's from or who he is or who his family is true, then he's a minority probably.
Okay, well, we can't say that that's I don't know.
Is he Brazilian?
I don't know
Maybe.
anything true about him, like let alone 10%.
I do, but like that January 6th and the buildup and the lies and the scheme made it possible to see everything else. And it's wild because he'd already been through so much just to get to that point to be up for re-election, to be able to maybe get back into the White House, and he didn't. And he was worried about all these other crimes coming to light, and because people were after his ass, but he kind of dodged a bunch of shit to
He
get
wouldn't
to
have
that
been charged with a
exactly
single thing had he not.
And then he did that, and a lot of people were like, "Fuck this guy." And that's what I told people previously: is he's gonna get himself in trouble with what he's saying, how he's doing, and how he's treating people while he's in office. There are people who are very good at their jobs, very meticulous. They're government employees that love their jobs and love this country in a way where they would do tedious, minute, like super detailed things to catch that guy. Oh fuck yeah! Like I mean, and anybody's worked for someone who's like, oh, I gotta catch this. I know this guy's stealing. I really want to fucking catch this guy. And then you
Well, just like this is all you need to know. It's like Trump is not okay. We all, I think, everybody, even Trump supporters, not a disciplined guy. Not like, yeah. So like, so for anybody to think that he's gonna run like a smooth, flawless campaign till November, when the wheels are fucking coming off, he's like going senile. He's like 80 at this point. Like in like the Adderall's getting to his brain. Like it's not gonna work. Like Biden has like a professional like staff that actually believes in what they're doing, and it's a movement, and it's like and Trump is just like it's fucking like just any second this shit it could be over, you know. It's like we're gonna find out he's got like a fucking like Hitler tattoo on his back or something, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like it just like any second, like there's gonna be something so fucking outrageous that it's just gonna be a deal breaker.
well, and think like I mean, it's all relative because how he treated Michael Cohen. I mean, Michael Cohen went to prison for this, and like, and then all you did was bash the dude. He has nothing nice to say, and he's gonna spill the beans on everything because fuck you, dude. Like that's what's crazy is that the people he employed smart people to do these tasks because he's not organized. He's not all of these things. So he would go find those people to do that work for him, and then he'd treat them badly. And those people are meticulous. They will use that against you later because that's why that stuff, like they have that. They have the records. They have that shit. They can catch you. It's like Shohei Ohtani when he like all this gambling stuff. He got caught because there was an illegal bookmaker who got fucking raided. And what do illegal bookmakers do? Keep fucking meticulous records of who owes them fucking money. And that's how they found out that there was gambling in baseball, and it's its interpreter, whatever the thing is. They
I was gonna say Ohtani wasn't gambling.
but his name and his bank
Don't you
account.
talk about? Don't you talk about
I'm
the
just
Prince
saying
of
is
LA?
the
Don't
only
you talk about the Prince
the
of
only
LA?
reason we know
5
about
home runs in 3 days.
the only reason we know about it is because somebody was breaking the law and kept meticulous records, and those records came to light whenever that guy got raided. That's how some of these people get caught. Steroid stuff. Alex Rodriguez, Roger Clemens, shitty little sketchy ass doctor giving people HGH and steroids. Kept meticulous records of who was paying him. Like,
You know who else got meticulous records? The Nazis.
and they did, and then whenever Alex Rodriguez is like, I don't know that guy, fuck that dude, da da da, like the Balco guy, he's like, no, fuck Alex Rodriguez. I already got your money, and I have all of this information. I'm selling y'all the fuck out because you're not even trying to pretend, you're not even being honest. So fuck those guys. And that's what's happening to Trump. There's a lot of people he treated badly who have kept meticulous records and watched what he did and knew they'd be in government longer than he'd be in, even if he got 2 terms, and they'd just wait and buy their time. And that's kind of what we're seeing with a lot of this stuff, because none of these people owe him favors. None of them. If he would have been like, yeah, I had an affair.
Well, Alvin Bragg, the prosecutor who brought these charges, the hush money charges, he like you have to get elected for to be district attorney in New York, and he ran on prosecuting Trump. Same with Letitia James, who did the fraud case in New York. Jack Smith was appointed special counsel like a year and a half after fucking Biden gets in the fucking office. That's the problem. That's why we're like up against the election because Merrick Garland's a fucking idiot. Like, but I don't know. Like these people weren't like really involved. Like like Jack Smith, like and then Fonnie Willis.
Well, no,
like
no, well, not them, but I'm talking. No, they're going after him for because he's breaking the
because
law.
it's their job.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about these witnesses, these
Oh yeah,
people that are saying what they're saying and flipping on him. They're flipping on him because
because they don't want to go to jail.
the moment they get tapped on the shoulder to be talked to, he's talking shit about them, whether they spill the beans or not. So they're more likely going to spill the beans over time because he's bashing them because they're being questioned. And he's like, oh, they better do what's right. Otherwise, that could be bad for that guy and everything that he's got going on. And then it's like, whoa, dude. Like,
Speaking of which, one of the witnesses came in yesterday, I think, and Trump like tried to do like a fist pump to him because he was like a guy who worked at the Trump organization, but he was like up there to testify against Trump, and Trump's like trying to co-opt the witness like before he gets on the stand, like.
and then that Trump's probably said some wild shit to that guy and about that guy before, where he's just like, "Nah, fuck this guy." So there's a lot of people who have a vested. There's people who he's treated badly that have a vested interest in seeing him go down. And
a lot of people are scared though, so it's like, not everybody's like, "Oh, fuck this guy." A lot of people are like, I don't.
And while you could say that's malicious and they're going after Trump because they don't like Trump and blah blah blah, he was breaking the fucking law and got them to co-sign breaking the law, or in turn breaking the law themselves, and now their backs are up against the wall and they're not going to take a bullet for a guy who's been bashing them, some of them before he was even president. He worked at the Trump organization. I bet he said some wild shit. There was mad ketchup flying in that office. But before every detail about what he was doing, and he was public knowledge, and there was a little bit of mystery behind, not a lot, but a little bit more mystery behind Trump in his day to day.
Well, who gives a fuck what he was doing when he was running the Trump organization? He wasn't in charge of the country. It's like, sucks to be in his family. That's who's like in there. It's like, whatever. You're like defrauding, like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But he was breaking the law while doing that, and then so now
Right.
there's a vested interest by all these people to bring him down because
but there's a lot of fucking criminals. Like, I just care about it when you're a fucking treasonous criminal and you're trying to become the president of the United States. That's when it becomes a problem for me.
Yeah, he's like Bernie Madoff meets that FBI.
Don't even give him.
Hold on, no.
He doesn't have
Hold
like.
on. He's like Bernie Madoff meets that guy who was that FBI spy who was giving the Russians intelligence for like 30 years and then finally got caught.
He's Bernie Madoff meets Weekend at Bernie's. Boom.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to tie in the documents in the Russia.
I just wanted to have a little Bernie on Bernie.
He's like a less cool Prigozhin.
Yeah, right.
No, he's not that cool at all. Yeah, so I mean that's going on today, and then yes, there was the indefinite delay of the trial. There are some pre-trial hearings and things that'll be going on.
She has 8 motions that she hasn't fucking decided on. She's like, "Oh, we can't have the trial in May because I've got all these motions." Bitch.
They're gonna
5 months. It's your job to do to settle the motions. Like, you could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, she's probably going to end up getting pulled. I think the 11th.
No. I actually just heard this. Like, this is so fucked up. So like, it's rare that like a prosecutor will go to an appellate court and ask for a judge replacement. But they can do that, and then you have to have like reasoning behind it. But because she hasn't done anything, right? Like, good, bad, or indifferent, she's literally just sat on this case and done nothing. Then it makes it impossible for Jack Smith to go to the appellate court, because the appellate court would want to like help him out, but they have to have someone to like hang their hat on for the reasoning to replace her. And since she hasn't even done anything, he can't even like he has nothing to say. Like, he's just like, fuck.
Oh, I thought the 11th Circuit could swoop in and make a decision.
They can, but it's like, you need to have cause. Is what these lawyers were saying, that like they try cases in front of the Supreme Court. They're like, you have to be like, this is why, like, she's like doing this. Like, remember how she like got slapped down by the 11th Circuit in the beginning of this whole thing before she was the assigned judge? Yeah, that was because she like did something, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't do this. Like, and like unanimously got overturned by a conservative appellate court. Here, she's purposely not doing anything, so they can't like blame her of anything.
Well, that's where
She has the discretion to take the time.
Well, that's where these pretrial motions could be big, because there's decisions she could make during the pretrial motions that could be used for cause to have her replaced.
If she never makes the decisions, then she never has to have the trial. She wants to become a Supreme Court justice, man. And the best way to do that is get Trump reelected.
Oh, for sure.
I know, because I've been so frustrated this whole time. I'm like, bitch, I was like, you've already got the job. Like, well, you don't need to hold Trump's water anymore. He can't fire you. But then I had the realization that she's got bigger ambition.
Oh, for sure.
She wants to be like Amy Coney Bryant, like a hotter Amy Coney Bryant.
Dude, she's so Amy Coney Barrett is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, Coney Barrett, whatever the fuck.
She's absurd. Next article. New York governor slammed for saying black children don't know what computers are.
What?
New York Governor Kathy Hochul is facing backlash for saying that black children in the Bronx don't know the word computer. Quote, right now we have young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is, she said. They don't know these things. The Democrat made comments while speaking to a technology panel in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. Ms. Hochul later said that she misspoke and regrets it. That's insane. She was at the Milken Institute.
Is that because
Global
nobody
Conference.
calls it a computer anymore, or what?
I mean, I don't know. How could you?
Because they just refer to it as a phone.
Yeah.
Or is she just like I think she's out of touch.
She said funds raised by the state would help build a supercomputer that will be accessible to researchers. The governor then said black children in the Bronx don't know what the word computer is. I want the world to open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges. That's kind of true.
Isn't the Bronx like gentrified now anyways?
Yeah, it's like there's like an Apple store. Couple. I'm sure there's a couple Apple stores.
I'm sure.
For sure. Ms.
Next
Hochul
to the
released a
Starbucks.
statement later. I misspoke and I regret it. Of course, black children in the Bronx know what computers are. The problem is that they too often lack access to technology needed to get on track for high-paying jobs and emerging industries like AI. So, I mean, that's true, but that's just such a wild fucking thing to say. To misspoke. That's just like...
Doesn't it suck, though, that, like, other Democrats will give her shit about this. She'll have to apologize, blah, blah, blah. And it's like not even, like, close to something Trump would even, like, just barely say, like, on a Tuesday morning.
He would say something like, get the blacks away from the computers.
Oh, yeah, like 80 times. Yeah, fucking lock them up. Yeah,
He'd say it's some wild...
remember, wasn't it like the Brooklyn 8 or something like the...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, and get the Bronx 8, too.
And then it was proven that they didn't do it, and he's like, I still think they did.
Yeah, he took out a full-page ad.
Yeah, he's like,
they all should be given the death penalty.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And then it was overturned, and he was like, nah.
No, I was right. Fuck that.
Yep, just like
everybody
the birth certificate of
knows.
Obama.
I know Bronx better than anyone. I spent a lot of time there. Lots of coloreds. They walk. Nobody knows what a computer is. They don't even know the word computer.
Bronx
I have
bombers.
a couple. I have a gold computer. I got one for Ivanka. My background is a picture of Ivanka.
George Steinbrenner, great friend. Great friend.
Never liked Larry David, how he depicted my boy Georgie. Georgie Steinbrunn. That's what I called him.
Stick man. He's a stick man.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty cringy though. This is an epidemic that exists with old Democrats, especially. They say some cringy ass shit. They'd be like,
I mean, you could just say old people. I mean, it's not just Democrats.
But
it's surprising when a Democrat. Is
no,
it's
like not because it's not because they try to be progressive and liberal and they try to say things and they don't know how ignorant they sound.
Right.
So that's why I say that, because that's a generational thing. Where like she said that and she realized later how dumb that sounded and then is apologizing.
Are we sure that she realized that, or did somebody have to tell her?
No, after the fact. Like there was like she said that and was like, I crushed it. If she thinks she's like saying like she's doing a good thing, she's like, there's no self-awareness there that's ignorance. So I don't think that she meant it maliciously, but she's so ignorant she didn't realize what she said.
It's a good thing that she's malicious. The governor of like the 7 boroughs of fucking New York. She doesn't know that black people have computers.
So that they just don't have them. They're like, what is this box I have at my house that I can get on? And I check my
Didn't
Facebook.
like George Washington Carver like invent the computer? You know,
The
like
peanut butter dog.
oh, yeah, that's right.
Let's go.
Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass just invented like being a G.
Who designed Washington D.C.? Wasn't that a black guy? It's like the layout.
I don't know. I'm not sure who designed the layout. I don't know. They didn't have a city.
I always get that guy mixed up with George Washington Carver.
The guy who
Who
designed
yeah, the layout.
let me pull this up real quick.
Because it's like strategic.
If it's a black guy, then like I'm
almost positive. And they only told us about 2 smart black guys, you know, like in that era. So.
Oh yeah, but he was a French guy, Pierre Charles L'Enfant. He's French. Was American French artist, professor, military engineer. Yeah. He had that white hair too, bro. Let's go. There you go,
Chocolate
Pierre.
City. Chocolate City.
Hey, Pierre, you want to come out here? He was in the Continental Army. French American. Let's go.
Patriot.
Born in Paris, France. He lived to be
one of the good ones. Freedom fries.
They called him Peter. He lived to be 70. That's G as fuck, dude. You're old as shit. You lived to be 70, and you just like yes. In that time,
Tommy Jefferson and Johnny Adams died on July 4th, the same day, and they were like in their 80s or something.
Yeah, that's ancient. To live to your 80 back then, that'd be wild. If you were 40, you're like, hey, grandpa. You're like, fuck you, dude. I'm only 40. Like,
yeah, that's why humans have no concept on like time and how fast it goes and like what we're supposed to do. Like, because like we weren't supposed to live past like 35. Yeah. And so like now we're past 35. We're just like, what?
We're like, so I think I'm gonna.
What's compound interest? What I need to save?
I think I'm gonna turn my old fridge into a smoker. Do that with my weekends for a little bit.
Got to take out the dead body first, though.
True. Well, cringy boomer says cringy shit. Deepfake gala. This is from NPR. This is by Rachel Tressman. Katy Perry's own mom fell for her Met Gala AI photo. Do you know what to look for? This was weird because I saw there was so many different AI generated things from the Met Gala. Like, oh my god, everybody's in Satan clothes. It's just like Facebook Christian stay-at-homes are just like going wild with these AIs, and apparently Katy Perry's mom probably maybe checks that criteria. Her mom was like, "Oh, you were at the Met Gala," and Katy Perry was like, "I wasn't there. Like, I'm busy. Like, homie ain't there, bro." On a post where it's like, couldn't make it to the Met Gala, had to work, but it's like AI photos of her. This is weird.
No, I heard about this. What's also weird is that like this is like I know at least the second, if not the third time we've covered the Met Gala on this podcast. It's like an annual thing now. Like the super producer, he like put it on the agenda like early podcast.
Well, if I put it on there, it's because I'm probably like talking shit about it.
Well, no, the super producer was too. He was trying to like how it's unnecessary and like opulence and like and I'm just like isn't there like a reason for it? And it is like a charity for art.
In the first, Perry appears to be standing hedge-lined red carpet at the Met Gala wearing an elaborate ball gown covered in flowers and butterflies. Those photos' exact origin is unclear, but it made a splash on X, formerly known as Twitter.
And then Elon refused to take it down.
Yeah, earlier in the night, as viewers at home refreshed their feeds and waited on their favorite celebrities' fits. One X post had a ball gown photo that had over 300,000 likes and 70,000 reposts as of Tuesday morning. The note at the bottom clarifying it was AI generated, which the notes are fucking hilarious. The corset garnered over 100,000 likes. It was eventually labeled digitally created.
I mean,
this is
what model are they using? Because like I'm trying to find like a image generator where I can use like photos. Because I want to like I was gonna try to fuck around and like with the new logo with us and like everything like that I see, it's like just you type in text. It's like I don't know how like you'd be like, well, I guess because like Katy Perry's famous, so you'd be like Katy Perry at the Met Gala.
Yeah, I mean, then you could make a case that this is something that's interesting and could be a problem in news media, not just like fake articles and shit, but people can make some pretty believable AI generated photos where you could create some stirs. Imagine if there was AI generated photos back when it was like all those like death scares. It was like, did you hear so and so died? And it was like those.
Well, that's still gonna happen. I mean,
It is, but now they can. What I'm saying is, as AI gets more detailed, there'll be some
that is
wild,
surprising. Yeah, you're right. I'm
wild
surprised
fake
that
photos.
there hasn't been like a like a deep fake death.
Deep fake death, that's coming, bro. A deep fake death is coming for somebody, and it's gonna
How's
be,
it not already here?
and it's gonna be something that's hard for that person to convince people they're not dead. And with all these conspiracies and all these cabal talk and all,
Well, that's kind of the worry about the election is that there's like a deep fake where one of the candidates dies on election day.
oh, I'm sure I'm sure maybe are leading up to it the day.
I mean, would that change anything? Like, you know,
Not necessarily, but that might
like,
cause.
oh, Biden died. Now I have to vote for Trump. Gotta pick the winner.
It might cause a stir though, in the sense where maybe there's like a retaliation. Like that's what I think is that's what's weird. And the political climate right now is ripe with just bullshit. And when you think about something like Ruby Ridge, or you think about Oklahoma City bombing, you think about some of those old anti-government terroristic acts in a completely different economy, climate. While there was still racial tensions, it was all structured different. It was way more, it wasn't as like blatant and out front. That now there's so much vitriol and so much just fucking bile floating around in the world that a deepfake like that could make some Michigan militia that's already that well, those guys are in federal prison for plotting to abduct the governor, but they might actually try that shit if they think Trump got murdered, or there could be some video where it's like a furry trans school teacher shoots Biden in like a fucking wolf outfit and then runs
I know,
away.
but with like okay, but like people could still do that already, like without AI, you know.
No, that's true, but AI
with,
could trigger AI could be used as a way to trigger a response from those people. Because yes, those things already happen, but a lot of them it's like wait and see, or we're trying to start this war, like on some helter skelter shit. We're gonna stir up a race war. You could stir that up using AI a lot easier.
Ukraine already did this. They did a deepfake of Putin and broadcasted it on Russian TV of him saying that he was calling up 400,000 more men and caused like a panic for like a day.
No, but I mean, well, a panic for a day for some of these crazy fuckers.
No. I'm just saying like it is happening. I wasn't saying that's like nothing. I'm just saying it's like okay, it's like fuck Ukraine. It's like you know, it's like if you're gonna do something crazy like that, like at least like make it like worth it. Like
think about when there was pro BLM protests and Trump was president, there was like fucking Toyota Tundras of people driving through protests, shooting paintballs at people. Imagine if they actually thought that Trump got like murdered and shot by somebody, by some BLM protester, and there was a video that was a deep fake that was believable enough. Some people are going to do stupid shit. That's what I'm saying.
I agree, but I also think it's overblown.
Well, we don't know because we haven't seen it.
I heard somebody saying like this judge knows like the reaction of if he puts Trump in jail by his supporters would be unfathomable. I'm like, no, it wouldn't. Like, how do you know that? You just said that. It doesn't make it true. Nobody's even at the fucking courthouse. Nobody cares about his ass.
No,
they all lost their money. They can't even travel to the courthouse because they lost their money on DJT stock.
What I'm saying is, yeah, I mean, these people are going to do this stuff, whether something like that happens or not. But what I am saying is the likelihood of something happening is higher. For some of them, if there is some deep fake shit involved, and the fight is worth having. So I don't like, if he needs to be put in jail, put him the fuck in jail. If people are going to do crazy shit, then let them do crazy shit. I'm not saying that you fear somebody else's reaction to not do the right thing. I think that's like bad.
Yeah, it's like literally like a principle of our Justice Department. It's you do justice, and then you let the chips fall wherever they may because of that. But you like he committed the crime, you put him in jail, and if there's consequences for that, okay. But that doesn't mean like we subvert the law because there might be consequences.
Definitely, yeah. So I mean, I think it's
worth
it.
Then we don't have a fucking country.
But until something like that does happen, we don't know what the reaction will be. And I do think for some groups, some people, some select few, their reactions will be dangerous.
I agree, but it's not going to be LA riots. And
No.
I also think that the left does a lot of, and the West, of self-deterring. Like with Russia, we weren't sending Ukraine like the weapons that we send them now in the beginning because we're worried about nukes. We're worried about nukes. It's like he didn't even have to like even like do anything with nukes. Like we're scared ourselves. And it's like, oh, should we put Trump in jail for violating the fucking gag order 10 times already? It's like, yeah, dude, like if anybody like did it once, they'd be in jail. It's like, oh, but what about his supporters? It's like, just fucking do it. Like, what are we talking about? Like, he's not this like Matt. You know what I'm saying? Just treat him like a fucking criminal, and people will treat him accordingly.
No, and then let the chips fall where they
Right.
may.
Like when you like, yeah, you're like giving him special treatment, so people are gonna treat him differently. If you treat him like a fucking like scumbag criminal like he is, then people will be like, yeah, he's a scumbag criminal.
This is
Meditate, bitches.
There's a way that you can scan photos to see if they're AI, and it'll say likely human or likely AI generated.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is that we're gonna be like, just humans will get better and better at like discerning what's AI and what's not. It's like like when graphics like new. I remember when like PlayStation 2 came out and I played like the NHL game at like GameStop.
And you're like, this is the
Like,
best
the first
game I've
time
ever
I was
seen.
like, holy shit, the graphics are insane. And like I knew I was never getting like a PS2 from my parents, or I didn't think I was, whatever. But then like now you go back and look at it and it looks like fucking donkey shit.
Facts.
So I feel like AI is probably gonna be the same, except for it might just get so good that it's like, I don't know.
Indiscernible. That's some Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger type shit where they have all. That's actually if you haven't watched that recently, you should go watch it because it's super trivial. Trivia. I mean, it's super topical for right now with like the news and fake news and doctoring videos and deep fakes and all that. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's possible it could reach that point. And that's what I'm saying. If it does, will that be used as a tool getting closer to election time to try to stir up some reaction? Or will it be used if Trump loses to try to stir up a reaction? Absolutely. And would Trump retweet that before he said, oh, I'm alive? Probably. Or retruth it? Yeah, he would totally repost a deepfake video of him being shot or something. Like he would totally do some stupid shit like that. Like
but yeah, I'm not worried about it. Like the more and more, it's like, I think once you take a step back and you like just try to look at things rationally, not get caught up in it, it's like Trump's not going to win this election, and we're going to move on, and things are going to be good. He's just, I just don't. He's just not competent enough to pull this through, and I just don't think like Americans are just going to be like, yeah, we're like, we're going to go out there and fucking vote for this ass clown.
Well, and some of the people that are really gung-ho about it can be pretty fanatical. So I could see people not siding with Trump, but not publicly wanting to say that because of their social groups and because of the people they're around. And some of the people, even their own friends, family, are fanatical about it. There's a
that's 100. No, that is 100% true. That pollsters have talked about that, where people don't want to say that they're not voting for Trump because they're like a lifelong Republican. It's like a fucking religion around there, but like they're over it, but they just don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, so they're just.
But there was the opposite was true, which is like a lot of like suburban like house moms like back in 2016 were gonna vote for Trump, but then felt like weird about saying it out loud.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think that they're voting for Trump anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's number 136. Boy Scouts no more.
Wee blows getting wee blown.
Got any?
They're wee blown.
You got any deep prophetic words for us before we bounce out of here?
Get money. Fuck bitches. Meditate.
There you go. All right, well, like, follow, subscribe, leave comments, whatever. We appreciate y'all checking us out. We will be back next week for number 137. Be good, be safe, stay out of trouble, and as always, go fuck yourselves.
Shout out.
Recording stopped.